Hey guys, it's postboxpat and welcome back to a new video, and today I'm going to be talking about the best controller setup for console edition of Fortnite Battle Royale. So how does it work and what's going to be going on in this video? So if you didn't know already, you can actually change up your controllers in your settings here, or your control settings. So you've got loads of control settings from sensitivity and stuff. I'm going to be going over all of these, the best ones to use and the best things to understand. There's also a bunch of different controller settings you can use from Quick Builder, Combat Pro and Standard, and that's all opinion based, and I will be going over the best ones to use in my opinion and why I'm going to be talking about that. So let's get straight into it and go straight onto the game settings. So straight out of the box, I've got sensitivity. I get asked this question near enough every single video: what sensitivity you use, Pat, and why? Now I use a pretty low sensitivity on the X and Y. That is your basic sensitivity when you're not zoomed in, and it's 404, which isn't the fastest sensitivity. As you can see, the fastest sensitivity is 10. I use 4 because I like using 4 because it's decent. I'm just going to decline all save changes because I don't want to save any of the changes. But I use 4 there because it's a slow speed but fast enough for me to be able to react to stuff. Now, the downside to a slow sensitivity is you're not going to be able to turn and react quick enough to people behind you. But the good side to it is you can be more accurate with your shots and your turning if you're used to it. Personally, I think fast sensitivity is the way to go if you can get used to it. But getting used to fast sensitivity when you've always played on low sensitivity on many different games with consoles, I think low sensitivity is the way I've always been. However, if you are a fast sensitivity person or you want to learn how to use fast sensitivity, I would highly recommend changing this up to about 8 or 9 or maybe even 7. Get it a little bit faster because you're going to be able to turn and kill people a lot quicker, but it may take a while to get used to it. So go something comfortable for now and keep moving it up, maybe 1 every single day, and every single day you keep moving it up until it goes to max. Oh, what's happening here? Let's decline that. We don't want any of them being saved. But yeah, it's pretty cool, and I reckon do that. Play it every day, play it once. 4 sensitivity, next day 5, next day 6, 7, 8, 9, and keep going until you can do it. And that's a good way you can do it, especially if you play every single day. If you don't play every single day, you can space it out over a few weeks. It's up to you guys. So that's that there. Now you've got controller ADS sensitivity, aiming down sight sensitivity. That's 0.6. That's actually quite a fast version of it. It's not the fastest, obviously, because it goes all the way up to 1 or 1, yeah, exactly. So 0.60 is decent, but it's not too slow, it's not too fast. It's just about right for my movement. It's a little bit slower than the 4.4, so I think that's a perfect one for me. And then the next one here is controller scope sensitivity. Now this is how fast your controller moves when it's aimed down a scope, for example a sniper rifle or a scoped AR, and it is pretty cool. You can use different settings on here. I think I use 0.75, I can't remember. I'll have to back out and decline just to remember. Okay, moved it a little bit. Yeah, I use 0.75, so decent thing to use. Nice little speed. You can get some nice shots off using that. What other settings do we have? We have the HUD and the Xbox safe zone. Them two really aren't too key at all. It's up to you if you want to mess around with them. That's just the size of your inventory. And the Xbox safe zone set the UI safe zone for the Xbox platform. I'm not 100% sure what that is, but that's basically, I think it's the scale on your screen and stuff like that. User interface scale, so really not too interesting there. User interface stuff, not going to affect gameplay much at all. Frame rate cap. Now, this makes your game feel really smooth and you can feel every frame rate. Now the downside to this is it starts to feel very weird, especially when you're using it first, and it does start to get extreme, like the frame rate starts to get inconsistent when you're at areas where there's a lot of firepower going on and stuff. So to be honest, if you want to play really well on console, I'd recommend keeping this off. But maybe if you're on the Xbox One X, give it a try, or if you're on the PS4 Pro, give it a try and tell us what you think, because I don't have them consoles. It'd be interesting to see what you guys think on that side of stuff. Personally, I think this is a no-go, and I do not recommend using it at all. The next one we have is matchmaker region. This is so key. There are so many people out there who don't understand this. See that MS? That's how many milliseconds you're going to be behind in the game. Make sure you have yours set to European if you're from the Europe, or auto, and it'll set you to your nearest server with the slowest ping, or MS, milliseconds behind. So make sure your ping is the lowest number as possible, because the lower the number, the less lag you're going to have to the server. So for example, if I connect to this one here, this is going to give me 3, 4, 5 milliseconds behind everybody else with every single bullet I fire and stuff. It's just no good, and you're going to feel so much lag. However, for me, Europe is the closest, and for other people watching the video, maybe North America East might be, North America West might be. Depends where you're from, and it all depends who you're playing with. That's another thing to keep in mind. Make sure you're playing with people from the same region as you, because you're going to get a lot better signal or strength with less lag. So make sure you go for the same region people. Try not to go with, say, if you're from Europe, try not to play with Americans or something like that, because you're going to get a lot of lag and it's just not going to be too good. But if you're playing with, say, North East Americas, North America, east side of stuff, the east side of America, you may get a little bit of lag. 97 ping is pretty high, but it's not too much higher than that. It's probably still a little bit laggy, but you'd probably still be playable. All the others, though, extremely laggy, would not recommend. Invert view, keep that off, guys. It's not very good to have that on. Sprint cancels reloading. This is something interesting. Personally, I don't think you need this at all. It's just keep it off because you guys are probably never going to need to cancel your sprint or cancel your reload by sprinting. So to be honest, I don't use that at all and wouldn't recommend it. Tap to search, that's to interact. Set search, that's to interact to be a press action instead of a hold action. That is interesting because you only press once. I think that's something that is quite useful, but the hold action is very easy to cancel as well. Personally, I like the hold action because it feels more interactive, but maybe the one press of it can be a lot quicker and it means you can like focus on other stuff while that's going on. So it's up to you guys if you want to use that or not. Try it out. It is interesting. I personally don't like it because it doesn't give you as much like feel with the game, but that's what I think anyway. Toggle targeting, set ranged weapons targeting to press to be a press action instead of a hold action. So that's interesting. Toggle targeting, I would recommend keeping it on because it's just useful. Again, it's easier to get kills with it on personally. I think set ranged weapons targeting to be press action instead of hold action. I just think it's a lot easier and it's interesting. It's one of them ones where you can try out and try untry. It doesn't really affect the game too much. It does a little bit, but it's up to you guys if you like it or not. Personally, I recommend keeping it on. Auto equip better items. So that is interesting. I don't know exactly if this was on for me. Let me just decline all this and check if it's on or off. Unquip, auto equip better items. So I assume this is just going to, when you run over items, it's just going to auto equip. Personally, I've not seen that really working that much because I've run over a few better items and it hasn't really picked them up. So that is something I would recommend having on if it worked. Obviously, I haven't had it to work myself, but many of you may have had it to work, so that's up to you. Vibration, that's pretty obvious. It's up to you if you want that or not. Aim assist, yes, I would keep that on for console players because it's going to allow you to have more accuracy. It's going to give you a little bit of assist, but if you want your aim assist off, you can do that. It's up to you guys to how accurate you want to be and stuff like that with all your tests and that. So it's up to you. Tell me what you think about that and just think about it really. It's not too major. Reset building choice on. Make sure that is on because that will take you back to the wall every time. Probably the keyest piece in the game is the wall and the stairs. Whereas if you have it off, it's going to select the one that is currently already in the game or in the slot. So say if you were to build a pyramid and you were to go off and go back on, it'd go straight back to the pyramid, meaning it's quite awkward to get to the wall. So personally, I'd leave that on, but that is opinion based depending on how you build, depending on what style of play you play, but I personally leave it on. Show spectator count. That is something that can put a lot of pressure on you. Personally, I like to have it on to see how many people are actually watching me, but I know a lot of people get kind of frustrated when they've got like 6 or 7 people watching them. So it's up to you depending on what type of person you are and player you are. If you like to be private or if you like to be open, it's up to you guys with that. And the last one here is controller auto run. Personally, this makes your character feel like he's drunk. I wouldn't recommend using it at all. I had this on the other day and he was all over the place, my character, with his auto run. It's just a no-go. It's just a no-go. Don't use this. Keep it off. It's kind of annoying and frustrating, but it's up to you guys if you want it or not. Brightness, pretty obvious. Audio, pretty obvious settings there, just basic settings. And then the final ones are different controller layouts. Now, in these controller layouts, we have 3 different layouts. We have Combat Pro, which allows you to be more like a lot better in combat because it allows you to switch through your weapons using LB and RB. Very useful. You can go backwards and forwards from your weapons. Standard, that's pretty useful, but it's not the best because you have to switch through your weapons using Y. And then Quick Builder, because you have to switch through your weapons using Y, it's no use. Now, if we look on the building versions of the settings on here are pretty simple. Again, you can switch through your pieces backwards and forwards using LB and RB. Standard, you can also do that. However, you can't do it too well because you have to rotate your piece. You can't switch backwards and forwards, so that's kind of frustrating. And then on Quick Builder, you can do that. And Quick Builder is meant for quick building. However, the actual version of the combat controls on Quick Builder are just not really worth it. It's got the old combat controls, LB to crouch and stuff. You have to press Y to go through your weapons. Honestly, the best one to use is Combat Pro because you can switch backwards and forwards between weapons. I know Quick Builder, it does sound interesting and it is an interesting concept if they made the combat version a lot better or if you could customize it yourself. But personally, Combat Pro, that's the way to go, guys. Stick with Combat Pro. It's absolutely crazy. I've had some crazy moments with it and it definitely is worth sticking with. But other than that, that's really it for this video, guys. guys. Hope you guys have enjoyed. If you are interested in telling me what you guys use on your control layout, mainly your sensitivities, leave them down in the comment section below. I'll be sure to check them out to see what sensitivities you guys are running on these 4 top sensitivities here. The 4 sensitivities and then 4 ones at the top there. Very simple. Feel free to comment them down below. As you can see, I use 4.4, 0.6 and 0.75. Very useful, and I personally think that's the best setting for myself. Obviously, everyone has their own preference and stuff, but you guys can go off my reference as well. I do pretty well. I get about 4 games won each day, so it's not too bad depending on how long I'm playing for. It is worth it, and my control settings, I can pull off quite a few clutches using them settings. So personally, that's what I think the way it is. It's just the way the game runs and stuff with all the different settings and that, but it's nice. It's an easy concept to understand. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe, and once again, if you're new around here, stick around for more content. And this is postboxpat signing out.